Hello everyone and welcome back to Bacon. Also welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. And hopefully not, but if I seem at all kind of drowsy, I got food poisoning yesterday. Hooray! So I also didn't get much sleep last night. Well, much sleep, if any, really. Alright, let's get started. Probably shouldn't sound so chipper considering the stuff that happened in the last video that left me so upset I couldn't even do my outro. But you know what? We're moving on. I do not remember being tucked into bed. In the silence of the dark night, I can feel the absence of Delora like a hole in my chest. Oh, and I'm sad again. Sleepless hours tick by in a haze until the morning sun creeps through the window. Lucette? You didn't get any sleep, did you? I shake my head. Me either, girl. But for different reasons. I wish I could give you time to grieve. She died protecting me. I cover my face with my hands, and hot tears that I thought had dried began pouring from my eyes again. Both of them, Garland and Delora, died because of me. This is my fault. If only I was strong enough, I could have... No, Princess. If it is anyone's fault, it is mine. Both Delora and Parfait keep owning up to this blame, but do either of them deserve any of it? Yeah. Your mother and I were like sisters once. I couldn't bring myself to hurt her. Because of that, I didn't act in time to save her from the Tenebrarum's corruption. If you are seeking to blame anyone, blame me. I am responsible for all this needless pain, all because I did not stop Hildur. I was too afraid, and now I'm too weak. But what could you have done? Mother is... I don't think anyone can stop Mother. The Lucis and the Tenebrarum are inextricably linked to each other and to their bearers. Inextricably. Yes. The crystallum cannot exist without each other. If one is destroyed, so is the other. What are you saying? We can stop Hildur if we destroy the Lucis. That would destroy the Tenebrarum as well. Parfait, that's insane. This world has suffered from magic for... Wait, what? This world has suffered from magic for 3 centuries. Maybe it is more bad than good. Perhaps the only solution is to remove the source of it forever. But Mother only survived because she was the Tenebrarum bearer. She lived so long as the Tenebrarum exists. If the Tenebrarum is destroyed, Hildur should die. But you're suggesting we destroy the Tenebrarum through destroying the Lucis? Won't that also kill Parfait because she's connected to the Lucis right now? Wait, would that hurt Lucette since she's technically connected to the Tenebrarum, or is she not connected at all because her mother took over as the bearer for right now? Parfait smiles at me, but I find no comfort in it. I guess we're gonna find out. I will only say it's my time. You cannot... Oh, so she is gonna die. Okay, cool. Not cool. What? You cannot be serious. 3 people are gonna die in this route? You cannot be serious. I hope not. There has to be another way. There has already been so much suffering. Delora and Garland did not die, so you would have to give up your life as well. I'm not saying we make a decision now. After what happened with Varg, I have strengthened the Marchant's defenses and added a glamour. For now, we are safe here. Can't they detect the glamour, and then if they poke and prod it enough, see through it, though? We saw that in the other route, didn't we? Breakfast will be ready soon. Join us when you're able. The others will need to know what happened last night. I wish I could eat breakfast, but my tummy's still wobbly. There must be another way to stop Mother. There has to be. By the time I make it to the dining area, the food is cold. I am not surprised by the state of the food, but seeing Waltz in a grown-up body is definitely shocking. Hello? Hello! Can we just sit here for a second and admire adult Waltz? This is gonna sound so insensitive, but he is, as far as I'm concerned, new and improved goth boyfriend. Hello! How you doing? Oh. Princess. Waltz quickly makes his way over toward me and kneels down. He looks almost like a knight, though he is lacking the armor. I'm looking forward to your route, bro. Thank you for breaking my curse. Thank you for being here. Hello. At least I was able to do something good, but still. You're like the first silver lining I've seen so far, honey. Princess? I did not notice the tears rolling down my cheeks until he calls my title softly. And then I remember what happened. I feel very insensitive. Oh, what's this? Waltz the Big has made the princess cry. Back off, Rumpel! Back off. That is my boy you're talking to. No, it isn't Waltz. Laura believed I could accomplish 3 good deeds, and yet I... You like hot chocolate, right, darling? Karma! I'll get the mugs. Okay, keep the 2 to the left and replace Rumpel with Varg. And that's like my boy band trio. I'll get the mugs. Gently, Waltz leads me to a bench and sits next to me. Parfait hasn't told me what happened to Delora yet. All of them are smiling at me, trying to cheer me up, but how can I possibly smile now? I need to tell you all something. Hot chocolate first, stalking later. Oh, Karma. You look pale, like you didn't sleep at all last night. And have you even eaten recently? Now that I think about it, no, I haven't. Rod, who I hadn't even realized was back at the Marchand, stiffly stands up from his chair and walks away. He was here this whole time, just listening quietly in the corner. Did I say something wrong? Walt smiles at me as he pats my shoulder. We've seen Anise off to look after Jurian, so it's just us at the Marchand. Rod's been taking care of meals, so he's probably going to get you something to eat. But why? Rod has never liked me. Rod can be their, like, lead singer. He's like, because usually they keep the tall guys in the back as, like, the backup guys. And they keep the shorter guy in the front. And he's also got the pretty baby face, so put him in the front. Yes, I am developing my Cinderella phenomenon boy band in my own head. Leave me alone. Rod has never liked me. You saved his family from Varg, Princess. I doubt he minds cracking a few eggs for you. Rod comes back into the room and places utensils on a plate in front of me. It is filled with toast and scrambled eggs. I know it's not much, but you need to eat. I have no appetite, but he is right. I pick up my fork and stab a few eggs to try. This is good. Thank you. No problem. Suddenly, I am incredibly aware of how famished I am. I shove the rest of the food into my mouth eagerly. I am eating the last remnants of my toast when Rumpel comes back into the room holding far too many mugs for one person to manage. And now I present to you hot chocolate a la Rumpel. Should we be afraid? Waltz jumps up to save the several mugs from Rumpel's precarious hold. Ah, hot chocolate, how lovely. I knew this would happen, so I made plenty. Waltz and Rumpel place the mugs on the table. Rumpel counts all of them. 5, 6, wait. Where is Lady Delora? The fork I am holding clatters to the plate. It is the only sound in the suddenly quiet room. Did no one tell Rumpel? Delora passed away last night. What? Okay, so he wasn't being a jerk before. He just didn't know what was really going on. It was just lightly teasing. Okay, I can forgive him a little for that then. The atmosphere shifts. Everyone is openly frowning, their eyes filled with regret. So the night ended up being a turncoat after all. Fritz had nothing to do with it. Fritz helped Delora get to me just when Mother was going to take Neverland. We would all have made it out alive if Mother hadn't used her magic to summon Varg. Mother was going to erase all my memories again, and I did not know what to do, so I just stood there. It was just like what happened with Garland. And now Delora is dead because of me. I cover my face with my hands as a too familiar grief bubbles up inside of me. Delora made a choice to protect you, Lucette, just like Garland made his choice to protect Jurian. The only thing we can do now is make sure their sacrifices weren't in vain. Here. He's so pretty! Waltz gently pushes a mug toward me. He's so pretty! If there's one thing Delora taught us, it's that hot chocolate makes almost everything better. I stare at the mug and remember the last time I had hot chocolate with Delora. I would never have thought the drink I shared with her so many days ago would be the last. I bite my lip to keep myself from crying. So what do we do now? The plan hasn't changed. We still need to stop Hilda and save the king. But how is the question? Waltz's voice is quiet. Lady Parfait? Does he know what Parfait plans to do? You know as well as I do that there's only one way now, Waltz. Parfait quickly explains what she told about destroying the Lucis to destroy the Tenebrarum. But if we do so by destroying the Lucis, he will die. I refuse to let that happen, Lady Parfait. Delora sacrificed her life to have Princess Lucette bring back Neverland, and now you're telling us that was useless and that there is no other way? If any of you have an alternative, please tell us. I don't want to lose any more of you over my mistake. But we cannot lose you either. I have a suggestion. Let me get this straight. Lady Parfait is going to act as bait to lure Hildur out of the palace into the gates. And the rest of us will help distract her long enough so that you can get to your father. Once the king is safely at the Marchen, Mother cannot use him as a bargaining chip anymore. After that, we will have nothing left to lose. We will be able to go all out against Mother. The efforts we spared in bringing back Neverland will not go to waste. Waltz will use his magic to give us the upper hand. Though to be honest, I would still like to try and reason with her one last time. Princess Hildur cannot be... I cannot accept that your death is the only thing that will achieve our goal in stopping Mother. You told me before that Mother was a kind person. If I could somehow reach out to who she used to be, then perhaps it is possible that we could end this without any additional bloodshed. Everyone turns silent. Their faces grim. I know this is not the best and most concrete plan, but please let me try it. I want to hope that the person my mother used to be is still there. This is my fight as well. I need to do something. The least I can do is save my father and stop Mother without Parfait needing to sacrifice herself. It will be dangerous, but I beseech all of you, please help me. I want to believe that my old friend is still in there as well. Okay, let's do this. Alright. Gonna save. It took a lot to convince everyone that I needed to enter the palace alone. It is the people outside who are fighting Mother that need the greater strength. Bringing any one of them with me would have greatly diminished that strength. I must quickly find the king. Mother always made sure to leave the king in the throne room whenever she left, so it follows that she would leave him there now. It's too quiet in here. I push the doors open and stop in the doorway. The king is sitting on his throne with the vacant expression fixed to his face. He does not so much as flinch as I step inside. I tentatively make my way to the throne. Your Majesty? He does not speak. His eyes remain fixated in the same place, as if he is looking through me. Is he gone forever? Angel needs you. The king I know would never leave his kingdom to ruin. I am standing close enough to him that I could reach out and touch him if I wanted to. What do I have to do to save you? Oh, so now you're being nice to him. I whirl around and place myself in between the king and Varg. All those years you had the opportunity to reach out to him, but you never did. You're still pretty too, but there's something about Waltz and his red eyes that just wins me right over. I'm sorry, sir. You've been replaced. I have a new goth boyfriend. So I guess the king had to be missing his soul for you to care about him. I still enjoy that you love chaos so much, though. We're always going to be friends, I promise. What are you doing here, Varg? Someone had to keep an eye on the old man. The queen thought someone might try to take the old man while she was busy. I had a feeling it would be you who'd return. You can't bear the thought of losing someone else, can you? What are you going to do then? I'm not leaving without the king. Varg is silent as he makes his way toward me. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to stop him, but I will not move. I cannot let him take the king, and I will not succumb to his threats. It is at that moment, just as he is about to reach out to me, that he suddenly drops to his knees and puts a hand up to his chest, his expression pained. I just need a little more time. What is happening to him? He manages to talk to me through gritted teeth. You shouldn't have come here alone, especially not with the big bad wolf here. It's my job to destroy you, you know. He flashes me a wicked grin, but the expression is shockingly short-lived. It is replaced by a soft smile. But this big bad wolf can't do that. You can't destroy a person you've fallen in love with. How are you in love with me? Varg looks at me amused. How? Blame Fritz. This was never meant to happen, but I can't help feelings that were there from the get-go. The queen wasn't pleased with your knight, so she tried to erase him forever. But he hung on. He was pretty sure that if you could be strong, so could he. He looks up at me with such sadness I actually feel guilt stir within me, and I am not entirely sure why. I don't think Fritz could ever deserve you. Deserve me? But he's more worthy of you than I will ever be. I'm nothing more than a moth drawn to your fire. I can only ever be burned by you. Maybe Fritz will have better luck. Oh, it's all sad again. Shadows begin to gather around Varg's feet and start to slowly swirl up the length of his body. Does that mean Fritz is coming back? I know that this is the only thing you would ever want from me. I just wanted to tell you how I felt, just that. God knows that Fritz is incapable. But he is capable of one thing. He's a good hunter. He defeated me fair and square to save Little Red, and now I have no choice but to step aside. So Fritz has overpowered Varg. Try to miss me, princess. Think about me every now and then. That would be enough. Oh, Varg, what are you? I regret saying you were replaced. I'm sorry. Goodbye, my princess. He smiles at me, his cocky grin faded into a gentle smile. The shadows cloak him fully, making him a little less than a silhouette. Oh, I just said some mean stuff, too. I keep myself firmly positioned in front of my father. The darkness eventually dissipates, and there, standing in the moonlight, is a familiar face. Fritz? I'm back. I look at him with bleary eyes. I'm sorry for taking so long, princess. I am running before I even realize my feet are moving. I am overwhelmed with so many emotions, none of which I can put a name to it in this moment. I know only that I am happy. So happy Fritz is back. Oh. Aw. I throw my arms around his neck and kiss him. Oh, it's so cute and I'm sad at the same time. It's like happy and sad. I can't take it. I hate it. It's bittersweet. Fritz pulls his arms around my waist, pulling me closer. This is him. This is Fritz's heartbeat, his scent, his warmth. He came back to me. Oh, thoughts whirl through my foggy head. I step away from him ever so slightly, suddenly aware of the heat in my cheeks. Wait, did I just kiss Fritz? Yes, you did, honey. I cannot bring myself to move away from his grasp, but I suddenly cannot bring myself to look up at him either. Why did I just... Fritz's gentle laugh brings me back to my senses, though it is hard to parse the feelings inside of me. I can at least be certain that I love the smile he is giving me right now. Oh, this feels like a dream. Oh, he's blushing too. Oh, it does. And not just because it would happen, because Fritz is here. Really here. Fritz leans forward to slowly brush a strand of hair away from my face. My heart pounds in my chest at the subtle touch. Once again, my mind is reeling with considerations. If the princess says it isn't a dream, then it must be real because I trust her with all my heart. I thought I lost you for good. I do not flinch away when Fritz pulls me closer so that I am resting against his chest. But how did this happen? Did you overwhelm Varg? Shouldn't you guys be... this is adorable, but shouldn't you guys be, like, grabbing the king and, like, leaving, escaping as fast as you can? But how did this happen? Did you overwhelm Varg? Varg erased himself. How is that possible? He's always had that ability, but he's never had any reason to consider using it before. Then why now? Because he cared for you. Oh, my love for you is so strong it must have affected him too. You love me? Varg said the same thing and he blamed Fritz. So it is true? Fritz smiles and I feel his warmth spread inside me like sunshine. Oh, it's so cute. Always loose. Oh, it's so cute! Well, 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 this is quite the scandal. Back off, Mithros! Fritz moves to stand in front of me. My queen is not going to be pleased. If my curse was so weak that even Sir Fitzgerald could break it, I do not think I am safe from her wrath. Did you just diss my boy? He just dissed one of my boys. He did. You snaky jerk. But I believe her disappointment in me will be second to the disappointment she feels for you. After all, you chose a lowly knight. Back off! How dare you? Have you not met the cinnamon roll who is 10 times better than you? Princess. I stopped short of Fritz's tone. You have an important task, don't you? The king. But Mithros, trust me. Fritz releases my hand to pull out his sword, sinking easily into a ready stance. I'll protect you. You think you could possibly prevail over me? Now, when you have no cane, no power at all? Don't make me laugh. Fritz strikes, his slash quick and clean, taking Mithros by surprise. Fritz manages to cut his sword through his shoulder. You tell him! Mithros hisses as he clutches his bleeding shoulder. The hatred in it is bright in his eyes. As Fritz rushes Mithros, I run toward the king. You think a mere swordsman can best one of the queen's apprentices? I'd be more wary if I were you, Sir Mithros. I approached the king who has yet to move from his spot. What do I do? How can I possibly move him? I need to wake him. But how? Your Majesty, I have been selfish. I was always so concerned with my own feelings and my own pain, in a perfectly reasonable way, I gotta say. I reached out a trembling hand and set it atop one of his hands. Now I realize you were trying to help. It may have been lackluster, but you genuinely tried. Well, at least she recognizes that it was lackluster, but I don't think he genuinely tried for crap. But now's not the time to critique that stuff. I have been so unfair to you, just like Mother was. I do not know if words are enough to make up for what I have done, but I am sorry. I am sorry for being so cruel to you. Please, I need you. I stare hard into my father's eyes, but there is no movement, no recognition. I dip my head in mourning and bite my lip as I try to think of another way to save him. But my thoughts subside when a flash of light permeates my vision. It is only for a moment, but when I look up, I can suddenly see life in my father's eyes. Lucette? Your Majesty! I reach out to hug him and he wraps his arms around me. I feel like I've been asleep for a long time. And then I heard your voice. It sounded as if you needed me. What has happened? I'm not crying, you're crying. He eyes the motion behind me and raises his eyebrows. He attempts to stand, but his knees shake and buckle. I duck underneath one of his arms to help him back onto the throne. The king stiffens as he glances at the battle ensuing behind me. Sir Mithras and Sir Fitzgerald? What is going on here? The king has broken the enchantment? Impossible! I told you not to underestimate her. You tell him, Fritz. Your Majesty, we need to get you out of here. What is happening here? Mother suddenly materializes in the center of the room, standing right before Mithras and Fritz, who has the witch at sword point against the front doors. But Mother is not alone. Mother has Parfait in a tight grip, but the moment I call her name, she releases her and Parfait tumbles to the floor. Crimson stains her dress. Parfait, you're bleeding. Parfait does not move to acknowledge me. Faye would not let go, so I had to bring her with me. Not that it matters. What did you do to her? Where are the others? They were treated like cowards, persistent things. I would have killed them had Faye not sacrificed herself. I let out a sigh of relief. They're all okay and alive. You still care so much about those traitors. I cannot understand your attachment to them. Mother turns her attention away from me and to the two men who are at a standstill. Mithras, you disappoint me. With the flick of her hand, Fritz is pulled away from Mithras and across the throne room toward me. I move to steady Fritz as he stumbles beside me. I am sorry, my queen. I have given you too many chances to prove yourself worthy. You have failed me too many times, Myth. You are of no use to me anymore. But my queen, I have done everything you wanted me to. Please, give me one more chance. I promise I... Silence. Mother's voice is cold and sharp as ice. Leave before I erase you from my sight. Please, my queen. Mother casts a spell at Mithras that is all too familiar. It is the same spell she used to kill Delora. Mithras does not even have a chance to defend himself as Mother's spell shocks his body. Such a pest. I don't even know why I kept that useless fool all these years. Why do I suddenly feel bad for Mithras? I suddenly turn to look at Mithras. He is no longer standing but lays unmoving on the floor. I feel bile rising in my throat. I cannot believe Mother just did that to him. Pause real quick though. Is Parfait dead? I think Mithras might be dead, and suddenly I feel bad for him. Just like a speck of pity. Just a speck. But is Parfait dead? And what was the big plan with Waltz and being able to fight and blah blah blah? Because if you have Karma, who's a sword specialist, without Varg around, if you have Parfait and Waltz, and then, I don't know anything about Rumpel's attacking ability, but just those three alone, they could have probably given this woman a run for her money, or at least. So, I wonder what happened. I cannot believe Mother just did that to him. How could you take away the man's life so easily, Hildur? How can you be so heartless? It's the first time I have ever heard my father speak to Mother that way. Heartless? I am heartless. Humans shattered my heart many years ago when you hunted my kind. You did this to me. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice movement. In moments, Parfait moves to stand before us, blocking us from Mother. Even though her clothes are soaked in blood and she is clearly wounded, Parfait has never looked so regal before. You. Parfait's hands move before resting over her chest where light begins to gather in her hands. In the blink of an eye, a glittering golden crystal appears above her hands. Is that the Lucis? But the light the Lucis is emitting is uneven, and as I look closer, I can see that it is cracked. What are you doing? The only thing I can to stop you. My heart plummets as I realize what Parfait is going to do. Parfait, no! If Parfait hears me, she gives no indication. It sounds like Parfait is on the brink of bleeding to death anyway, so that doesn't mean that I want this to happen. It means that I think she knows that since she's going to die anyway, there might as well be a better purpose for it. And that sounds horrible. I don't want her to die. Don't get me wrong, I have lots of critiques about Parfait. I don't want her to die. But that's just how I'm reading it at the moment. If you do this, you'll die, Faye. You'll die and remove all magic from Angiel forever. Nothing else will stop you, will it? Your hatred for the humans, the corruption from the Tenebrarum, it runs too deep. I see that now. Magic was never meant to be used with malice, Hilder. So long as witches can be corrupted, magic will always pose a threat. I can't allow that to happen. I wanted to change things with Delora, but what gives you the right to decide what to do with the magic? I am the Lucis Bearer. I have a responsibility to maintain balance. But I see now that there can be no balance when the crystalline exists. Light begins to gather, first around Parfait's feet and then around her body. It slowly begins to make its way toward Mother. In no time at all, the light swarms around their bodies. A white crystal suddenly appears in front of Mother. The Tenebrarum. I won't let you do this, Faye. It is too late for that. The golden light of the Lucis intensifies. I can hear the crystal shattering from the inside out. No. The Tenebrarum breaks soon after, its fragments slowly fading with the bright light. Mother and Parfait's images begin to do the same, despite Mother's struggle. Both they and the crystalline slowly dissipate into the mist. No! I lunge forward, but Fritz's arms are suddenly around my waist, holding me still. Mother snarls as she attempts to escape Parfait, but the light around her creates a thick box she cannot escape from. You would die for the humans? The humans that have hunted my kind because of their fairy tales? No, I'm dying for you, Hilder, so that for once I might save you from yourself. Mother chokes out a laugh. You are a fool, Faye. Perhaps I am, but at least I will die with hope in my heart. Mother turns to look at me in the blinding light. Parfait's concentration never wavers as she turns to settle her eyes on me as well. Mother's face is fading in the glow, but her voice is clear. I truly did love you, Lucette. Everything I've done, everything I did out of love. Parfait smiles at me gently. It is a silent goodbye. There is a brief burst of light, and for a few moments I am blinded. When my vision returns, I see Fritz first. He is staring where Parfait and Mother had been only moments ago. On the floor where they stood moments ago, there is now only dust. Oh boy. I am gonna go ahead and finish it up today just because at this point, the rest of it might not be terribly long. And to be honest, I'm at that point where I'm like, I just want this route to be over with. I love Fritz. I enjoyed Varg. Everything's been mostly fun, but flip-floppity. I can't anymore. With the loss of the crystal and magic vanished from Angiel, all the fairy tale curses broke simultaneously and all witches and fairies lost their power. As soon as it disappeared, I turned into an education centered around the knowledge of Angiel rather than magic. I had decided back then that I would do anything to help Angiel and its people, and it needed to start first by educating myself. I'd started to follow my father on his trips around the kingdom. I'd even started to accompany Emmeline on all her trips outside the palace. Fritz has remained by my side for the past month. He comes with me every day I visit the graves. Carefully, so as not to disturb the flowers Durian had left earlier, I leaned down to place my lilies by each gravestone. Garland, Delora, Parfait, and the last is always the hardest. With a deep breath, I walked to the fourth gravestone. I stared at it for a long time before I finally set a lily down. Mother. Fritz and I stand there in silence as we grieve for the lives lost that day. Didn't he also lose his father, or was he just banished? So they lost a lot. I look up into the sky and smile as I stare at the warm rays of the sun. I shift my gaze at Fritz, who smiles at me. He has never left my side since that day. Fritz has already told me that he loves me, but I have yet to tell him my own feelings. Fritz, Yes? I didn't have the chance to ask this before, but how can you possibly love me? I've been so horrible, not just to you, but to everyone around me. Fritz's expression softens. He gently tilts my chin upwards so that I have to look at him as he speaks. For as long as I've known you, you've had to deal with things no one should have to go through. You were forced to live in the Queen's shadow because others refused to see past your relationship to her. You've been alone for so long and I could see how much you were hurting. But despite all that pain, you remained strong. You've always been strong. From the beginning, all I've wanted to be was someone you could rely on, someone you could trust, someone who would always be there for you. I must have trusted him from the beginning too. Fritz was the only one I allowed to get close to me. I do not look away from him, but instead I stare back into his eyes with conviction. I know I may not have shown it, but I did trust you. I've always been able to tell. You wear your heart in your sleeve. I do not. Fritz laughs, and the slight cockiness of his smile reminds me a little bit of someone else. Oh, so are we starting to get a little bit of a mix of Varg in there? Because that would be pretty cool. It's been years since you became my responsibility. Once I learned your tales, you became an open book. He surprises me by putting his forehead to mine. The feeling of him so close is comforting. I love the way you're so careful with whatever you consider precious. I love how your eyes light up when you eat a good pastry. I love whenever you rely on me. I bite down on my lip as I blink back tears. No one has ever had that kind of faith in me. Before I knew it, you'd made a spot for yourself in my heart. Aww. And I began to hope that one day I could be as dear to you as you are to me. I stare up at Fritz, the tears pooling in my eyes. He wipes away a tear before it can roll down my cheek. I've never felt so cherished before. I do not step away when he leans forward to plant a kiss on my forehead. Cute! Aww. I like the way she looks in this picture. A lot. I don't know why, like, I've seen plenty of CGs with her in this, but for some reason this particular face just looks particularly attractive. It's very nice. Look at those two little cutie pies. Anyway. I hold out my hand and Fritz comes to my side. I feel the warmth of his fingers and smile. When things begin to overwhelm me, he never fails to calm me. I grip his hand more tightly. Lucette, I love you. You know that, right? I've known for a while, but it's nice to hear it all the same. Then I'll say it for as long as you want me to. Aw, for the rest of our lives then? A princess and her knight, huh? Does that matter? No, it doesn't. Even if it was such a rule, I'd abolish it once I become queen. Sassy. Fritz starts to laugh. As always, his laughter is full of so much joy it lifts my heart. I want to hear it for the rest of my life. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to. Oh, that was so crazy cute! Okay, so that was the end of Fritz's route. Oh boy. I don't even know what to say at this point. That was rough. That was rough, buddy. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that lovely stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Oh, pretty pictures. I love how it goes through all the CGs after you're done. Okay. Oh, that's right, there's more. I'm just in a very befuddled state of mind, I think. Oh, and that was the not okay thing that happened. I also remembered that in Karma's in particular, like, depending on the choices you make, the CGs can also change. Like, the cake can change for Karma, and I actually appreciate that a lot. They do put a lot of work into this game. I mean, they did put a lot of work into this game. Alright, now I'll see you later. Bye-bye!